The United Nations Security Council is discussing how to keep an already volatile situation in Haiti from getting worse. Gunmen stormed President Jovenel Moise's home early Wednesday morning and assassinated him. The attack also left his wife critically wounded. Haiti's police chief says officers killed 4 suspects and captured 2 others. The interim prime minister says he will remain in charge and the crime will not go unpunished. My colleague Vladimir Duthiers has the latest.
The assassins arrived in trucks after midnight, claiming to be agents of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. A U.S. government source told Reuters the DEA had nothing to do with the killing. The gunman, reportedly speaking Spanish and English, descended on President Jovenel Moise's private residence and opened fire. The 53-year-old leader was killed. His wife, the First Lady, also shot, flown out of the country and brought to Miami. She remains in critical condition. By morning, bullet casings were seen on the grounds outside his home. Haitian ambassador to the United States, Brochit Edmond.
It seems that this horrible act was carried out by well-trained professional killers.
The international airport immediately shut down. The streets of Haiti empty save security forces that patrol the capital. On Wednesday, President Biden acknowledged the tenuous situation in the Caribbean.
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of Haiti.
Acting Prime Minister Claude Joseph declared a state of siege and asserted he was now in power. Moise was the president for 4 years, but over the last few months, opposing forces and protesters have been demanding he step down, with some accusing him of being a dictator. He held on to power past the end of his term this year and ruled by decree for nearly 2 years after the country failed to hold elections. I spoke to President Moise back in 2016 when Hurricane Matthew devastated the country shortly before he took power, when he said he was looking for Haiti to recover from its troubled past, where over half the population lives in poverty.
On peut dire presque 30 à 40% du pays, l'État n'est pas présent. Moi, je vais travailler pour que l'État soit présent à travers tout le pays.
Vladimir Duthiers, CBS News, New York.
To talk more about this, I'd like to bring in freelance journalist Harold Isaac, who is in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Hi, Harold. Thank you for joining us. So authorities say 4 suspects were killed and 2 others were captured. We also know they claimed to be American DEA agents. The U.S. government has said they were not. Has there been any headway into the investigation into who these men are, where they came from, and who funded this operation?
Well, we're still in the unknown for the majority of these questions, as the investigation is still ongoing. There is tension that has been reported in Pétionville, and there's been a lot of social media circulating with what seems to be foreigners that have been detained or arrested and taken to the police station. But we're still in the early stage and still trying to make a sense of what really happened yesterday and how it was carried out.
And so Haiti's First Lady was flown to the U.S. to recover from her injuries. Are there continued safety concerns for her and for the rest of his family?
Well, obviously, her health status was a very big concern in the early moments of this the fallout of this attack. And it was reported that she was still undergoing treatment in Florida. And of course, the security situation remains volatile. And we're still trying to understand what are going to be the next steps. There's a lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen in the coming hours and days.
And so before Moise's assassination, the United Nations Security Council did express concerns about the political stability and humanitarian situation in Haiti. They've also have a political mission in the country to help guide them. Now they are meeting to discuss next steps for the nation. What does it mean for the UN to step in? And what options do you think are now on the table?
Well, the UN has been a staple, if you want, of Haitian politics for the last, more than over 10 years, and they've been regular actors in Haitian politics. Now, what's going to happen next? It certainly will involve international community, and certainly going to involve political actors in Haiti. But there's no clear pathways. There's no set roadmap or framework, because we are in an unprecedented situation. This has never been seen in recent memory, that we've had a president killed in function, and we're propelled in a aggravated constitutional and political crisis.
And so the Dominican Republic closed its border with Haiti shortly after the assassination was announced. What does that say about the extent of repercussions from what happened and the political turmoil to follow?
Well, it's a precautionary measure that they've taken in order to prevent any influx of migration that could result out of as a fallout from the assassination of the president. However, it is early to say what the next step will be for the Dominicans. They are watching the situation very closely. Obviously, they are concerned for the safety of their land, but the bulk really of the crisis is here, and the uncertainty certainly is here. For now, it remains relatively peaceful, with pockets of violence here and there, but the situation is highly volatile.
All right, Harold Isaac in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.